everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Go On, I'm Listening. I am your host, Tati. This episode that I got coming to you live today is one that I'm really excited for because I have someone who is my esthetician here, actually. She gave me my first ever wax, y'all. Oh my goodness!
It was a fun time.
Oh my, oh yeah,
it was such a fun
time. Man, she's so good. Okay, we'll get into it, but it is my friend Roz. Roz, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Of course. How are you feeling?
I'm excited.
Oh!
I'm excited for this. I've been telling everybody about this.
Oh my gosh.
So they'll be watching.
Yay! What's up to y'all fam watching? Oh my goodness, thank you guys so much and thank you for being here.
No, of course. Thanks for having me.
Happy. Of course. I'm so happy to come and pick your mind and just get to know you a little bit more. So, okay, for the people who don't know who you are, walk us through a little preview of, a little trailer of who you are.
Well, I'm Roz. I'm an esthetician.
Yes.
I love nature. I love anything outdoorsy, camping, hiking. I love the water, so I love seeing the ocean or a lake, things like that. I help people feel beautiful about themselves, and it's a very rewarding job.
Yes.
And just helping people feel more confident in themselves too. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding and it makes me happy.
Yes, I love that. I love that you found something, an avenue that you're able to express your passions, which is making people feel beautiful and everything.
Yeah.
You see so much at work, right? You're an esthetician. So first of all, what is an esthetician?
So estheticians are in the beauty industry. So we do anything from makeup to waxing to facial, skincare. There's just so many things that we could do, or that I could do with my license. I am in the skincare industry.
Yes.
I do facials and I do waxing. So if you guys ever want to have beautiful skin, hit me up.
And come get a fire wax. Oh my goodness. Can I tell my story? Can I tell
please.
my story?
I love giving people their first waxes.
Oh my God, really?
I feel like it's so fun.
Oh my goodness.
To introduce somebody to it.
Breaking them in,
It's a different world.
Oh my goodness. That's why
really
I have to talk about it. Because literally you literally was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I was like, all right. And you did it and you were like, okay, feel the difference.
Yes.
And I'm like, who am I?
Literally. Because once you feel that first initial one, I'm telling you, it hurts.
You know what's crazy? It didn't really hurt me like that.
Because I think you expected a lot of pain, and then when it finally happened, you're just like, oh, I psyched myself out. Because I feel like that's a lot.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people.
So you think it's going to get worse, and you're saying pretty much, don't ever think that doesn't hurt.
Once you feel it, you know what to expect now.
Got it.
So you're not going to picture anything that's going to literally hurt you.
Got it. Okay, that's completely fair.
Yeah.
And I can totally see that too, yeah. And I don't think that it's going to get worse. Okay, first of all, let me rate the pain. The pain, I would have to say, was a cool 6.9. It was very tolerable for me. I was able to still take my breaths. And once it was done, it kind of was done. Yeah. But I also have my back pierced. So when it comes to pain, I'm a little bit different because I feel
hurt?
Oh my goodness. Only because two different people pierced each piercing. So the first girl who did my piercing, she was struggling. It was not working. It was rejecting.
So one did one and one did the other?
Yes. So she called her friend. Her friend was like, okay, we're about to do it. And I'm like, all right. She's like, you're done. And I was like, no, just go ahead. Do it. And she's like, nah, girl, I'm telling you, you can get off the table now.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, shoot. That took 2 seconds and girl took 10 minutes. So if I would have had both of you, I would have got more piercings.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm kind of traumatized to get anything else right now, but my back is pierced. So with that being said, instant pain is okay for me because the next day that I woke up after my back was pierced, I done forgot I had my back piercing.
So
I literally had
afterwards.
Nope.
It healed? Really
healed
fast?
Completely fine, yeah. I mean, there was a couple of times where I ended up snagging it, because my bed is feathers and stuff like that, and whatever, the whole nine like that. Yeah. But of course, it's the same when it's in your ear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
you can
true.
snag it with your hair all the times too, So
your first time having a wax.
Oh.
I knew you were nervous. I knew you were scared. So it's just I had to kind of switch. I don't want to say my personality, but the way that I talk to you, so that to make you feel comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Like if someone is more like, oh my gosh, I'm more like they're uppity and like they have a lot more energy, then I'll kind of match that energy.
Of course.
So I'll kind of reciprocate what I'm being given.
Got it. Okay, so do you feel like I was like uppity, like for my appointment?
No, I felt like you were scared.
I was so
You were
scared.
very nervous.
Oh my God,
and I
was
could
so
understand
scared.
why, because I've been there. And so it's just like, and I feel like that's why I would want someone to make me feel comfortable in that situation.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what would I want if I were you?
Yeah. I've known Roz since the 5th grade.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. Literally, she used to draw these flowers on the corner. I don't know if it was on the corner or where it was on her paper, but she used to draw these flowers. And to this day, I still be trying to draw the flowers.
Cute. When you first told me that, when we first reconnected, I was just, that is so cute.
You remembered the flowers?
I do, because I still do it that way.
Oh my gosh. I literally was just so jealous that you knew how to do that. I always would just be looking and getting so inspired. And every time I draw one of those flowers, I always think of you.
Oh.
It's so cute.
And isn't that weird how we reconnected like after that?
That's crazy. How do we reconnect?
So crazy. I think it was when Instagram became a thing. And then I was just like adding people. And then I saw you. I came across I think I added you.
Okay.
And then you reached out and you're just like, hey, you look so familiar. Like, do we know each other? Yeah. And I was just like, wait, yeah. And I told her, I was just like, yeah, we went to elementary school together.
That's crazy.
And then we just followed each other for the longest time. And then one day you reached out to get a wax.
Yes.
And I was just like, hey, I'm available. Like, let's do it.
Yo, but 5th grade was a time, baby.
It was.
And the reason why you actually didn't come to Fairmont in the 6th grade was because you actually were enrolled in foster care, right?
Yes. I actually, at the end of 5th grade, my dad ended up getting us back.
Nice.
And that's why I ended up moving. So that's to Sacramento, which is why I didn't go into 6th grade.
Got it. Okay, so tell the story for the people who don't.
Yes.
Give them the timeline.
So
come with us to 5th grade, guys.
Come with us to 5th grade. So at that time I was in 5th grade. I was in foster care. I was in foster care for I think like 3 years, 4 years. I don't remember. It was a good chunk of my childhood, which sometimes like I forget I went through that because I tend to block off.
You think trauma? Okay.
Like,
oh my God.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, that did happen. Like my sisters will bring up like things about my childhood, and I'm like, that did happen. I totally forgot about that. A lot of the things that, or how I coped with it, have followed me through adulthood in the way that I cope through things now.
In what ways?
When I was in foster care, I would very much like, I wasn't avoidant. Like I didn't like to think about it because if I did, I would get sad. So I feel like I kind of followed through with that into my adult life, into where like if things are bothering me, I'll ignore it. Like in my relationships, if like my man is doing something, I'll like, oh no, like I'll avoid it. I don't want to talk about it because if I don't talk about it, it's not real.
Wow.
Yeah.
I totally can 102% relate to that as well.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind type of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
and then like I kind of realize now that when I say things out loud, it's, I don't know, it makes things more real for me. So like,
and it pushes you in that acceptance stage when you're not ready to get there yet. It's like you're screeching like, no, don't take me.
Yeah.
And that's what it's doing.
Yeah. And I feel like that's why I'm like, communication is really, really big for me because I'm not used to talking about things. Like when I first got put into foster care, it was because I was with my mom at that point. My dad was, I think, in jail, prison, whatever. And she never picked us up from school. Oh, and we were in elementary school. I think I was in second grade. And it was me and my little sister because we went to the same elementary school. Never picked us up. It was like 5 o'clock. School got out at like 2. And we waited there. And so the staff was just like, well, we can't stay here any longer. Like we can't get a hold of their mom. So like we have to call the police. So the police ended up taking us. And when I got there, I saw my older sister. And like an hour later, my mom came in and she was in cuffs. And I was so confused. I was just like, what is going on? Like, is she in trouble? And I remember just the cops being super nice. it's true that they drink donuts and coffee. Like, it was literally filled with Folgers, like, coffee.
Wow. Is that red coffee
Yes.
tub? Okay, yeah.
And, like, boxes of empty donuts.
Oh my
boxes. Like Krispy Kreme.
Oh my God.
Like, it was like the movies.
Wow, like Homer Simpson. Like, legit, like, with the beer belly to her.
Yeah, but I remember, like, she was there, and then this lady came, and she goes, oh, I'm going to take you guys. The police just want to question your mom, so I'm going to take care of you for a little bit. Never told us we were going into foster care. And then we just started living with somebody.
Bruh,
yeah.
What?
They never told us anything.
Bruh, what?
So for the longest time, I was just like, oh, so my mom's coming back. Yeah.
Wait, that is so traumatizing.
Literally, but...
I just started living with somebody.
Literally. No, for real. That's how it happened. And then, like, after...
And that's not us laughing like this is a joke. Like, that's like
not...
actually, this is the way we cope.
Yes, literally.
It's like, what? This has to be disbelief. A joke. Yeah, disbelief.
Yeah. But, yeah, we just ended up living with somebody.
I've also never heard it explained that way because my grandmother was a foster parent as well. And that's also another reason why we connected, too. Yeah. So I've always wanted to just, like, get in the minds of the foster child because to us, y'all coming in living with us, and I'm your age too, so it feel like a party, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we lit, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking, you know, when the people come. It's kind of like you guys are foreign cousins without really being family.
I have friends coming over.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, it's just friends that's going to be there when I get out of school, you know what I mean?
Right.
So to hear you saying it like that, like, you just start living with someone. Like, they
it's like literally a stranger. Wow. And, you know, like, we were raised very, like, I don't want to say strict, but I was raised to be, like, quiet. So, and, like, I'm also the middle child. So if anybody knows
that middle child
syndrome,
what's that like?
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. No. It's like the oldest is the favorite because they're the oldest. The youngest is the favorite because she's the youngest. Yeah. The middle child is just there. So you kind of learn to just shut up and kind of do your own thing. Wow. And that's also a very big part of my personality.
Oh my God, you should do your own thing.
Yeah. And I feel like that's because I live in the Bay Area. My sisters live in Sac, and my parents live in Sac. So I'm the only one out here.
Oh, and it's like you're kind of excluded from your family, low-key. Not far because Sac is, you know, about an inch away, but you know literally. What I'm saying? Like, but still, like, in a way, they kind of have their own thing going on in their own community.
Exactly. So I'm just like, let me just do my thing over here.
Did you set yourself up to do that yourself, or like?
I mean, I always felt like that living with them.
Okay.
I always felt excluded. I remember there was one time when we were little and I was still with my parents and I really wanted to go to the circus. There was a circus in town and I would tell my parents, like, I really want to go to the circus. I want to go to the circus. So they're like, okay, we'll go. I remember one day I took a nap. I woke up because the door opened and it was my parents and my two sisters and they were coming home from the circus.
Oh my God.
And I was so upset.
Oh my God.
And my sisters were telling me, like, yeah, we rode the elephant, we watched the animals. I was so upset. And I'm just like, why didn't you guys take me? And they're just like, you were sleeping.
No.
I'm like, you couldn't wake me up?
No.
Like, that trauma.
Yeah, no, for real. And that would make me hate everybody, even my sisters.
So
like, why would you go without me?
Yeah. I'm like, you knew I wanted to go to the circus.
Oh.
So now every time there's like a circus or a fair,
you look at them,
I want to go.
I'll go with you too then.
Oh, okay. Now I know who to hit.
Yeah.
Like, come with me to the circus.
I like, heck yeah. We just got to take care of the animals. But if they like are not mean to the animals, I'll go.
Oh, yeah. No, now I know what the circus does, so I don't want to go to the circus.
Okay, let's not go to the circus.
If it's a circus with, like, acrobats.
That's fine. Yeah. So, let's go. I'll go to that. I'll watch. Let me be honest with you. The side of foster care that I saw was very privileged, glitz and glam, because this is my family, right? Like, you gotta think about, and I mean this in a way that's not really, like, some people's experience is different, you know, with foster care. Like, for some of our foster children, this was their first home, and for other foster children, this is, like, the only home that they ever wanted to be in, you know what I'm saying? So, I've always only seen the glitz and glam of foster care, like always having their allowances, always just making sure they were taken care of. There was always food around. Yeah. The necessities were always met times 10. Yeah. So when I hear sometimes the little stories about like foster children who don't have the most positive experiences, it makes me really sad.
Yeah,
do you feel like
definitely.
you had any experiences like that where it's kind of like,
I do.
this is traumatizing?
Yeah, I mean, all of it was really traumatizing.
Yeah.
I feel like I was always in my bed, no matter.
Wow.
I went to, I think, 3 different foster homes, and in every single place, I would literally sit there, like, when I would go to bed and be like, okay, when I wake up tomorrow, this is going to be a dream.
No.
This is going to be a dream. Like, I'm going to be at home with my parents. Like, this is just all just a dream. And I would wake up and like, oh, wait, this is not a dream.
No.
Yeah, but I got really lucky, or me and my sisters got really lucky because we weren't separated. So I have 2 other sisters. I'm the middle child, as we said.
Yeah.
And it was really great because usually siblings will get separated in the system.
Yeah.
But I think that's the one request that my mom, like, I
Was
don't know
able
if
to
it
get
was my
granted.
mom, but I feel like it was my mom, where she was like, please just keep them together. Like, I want them together. So
And social workers for sure will like do their best. To
they
make
will
sure
do their
that they,
best.
yeah.
Like, I had a
good
really
social
great
worker, let's say
social
that.
worker.
Yeah.
I forgot her name, but I remember she would wear voodoo dolls.
Oh.
Or she would wear like these earrings with people.
Oh wow.
And they were tied they were tied together, like 3 people, and they were tied together
Oh
as
my
earrings.
God.
And then she would tell us
That's kind
that
of cute. 3 people tied together.
yeah, and she would tell us like, oh, these are the really bad foster parents that I turned into voodoo dolls, and now I wear them as earrings so that they can't hurt kids anymore.
God.
And I was just like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Wow.
So I'll always remember my social worker. She would give us Christmas presents, which I loved. She would always ask us our interests so that she could specifically give us Christmas presents who like that fit our interests. Like I was really into art and drawing. So she gave me an art set with like a sketchbook. I don't remember what she gave my sisters. I was worried about me.
Right, period. Look, I'm to the back, okay?
Yeah, I got really lucky that we were all together. But we did have foster parents that were not the best. We did have a particular one. She was actually, it's funny because we knew her from church.
Oh, wow.
And she actually was doing my mom a favor. And she made it very clear that it was a favor by keeping us
taunting
with her.
You guys with it?
Yeah. And then, but she was like so verbally abusive. And I feel like it's because she was going through her own things, which I can understand that as an adult now.
Okay.
But also, it's just like that doesn't give her an excuse to treat her the way that she did. Like she would say things like, "Oh, your parents think that you're not important. Like, they would never want you. Like, you're not wanted. That's why you're here." Things like that. She goes, "I don't even want you. Like, your parents don't even want you. Like, I'm gonna take you back to the system." So like she made it very clear that we weren't wanted there. And we never said anything. Me and my sisters never said anything. It was really sad. Like it took a toll on us, and I feel like it still affects me to this day, to where I feel like I'm not good enough, to where like she would say things like that, because it echoes in your head as a child if that's what you're hearing at a very young age. It's just like, and it's just like, oh, and I am in the foster system. My parents don't want me. Like, if they did want me, why am I here?
You're right.
Right? So I felt like there was some truth behind it. I didn't want to believe it, but I did, because I was a child. And I mean, she ended up calling the social worker and saying she didn't want us. And we went back into the system. But I mean, I feel like it was for the best, just because I mean, her husband ended up cheating on her. Karma. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
What goes around comes around.
But it's just like, I get it. You were dealing through things, but you shouldn't have taken it out on children. Like, we were literally children.
Kids.
Like, my sister was 6. I was like 7, 8. Then my older sister was like 9 or 10. Wow. And just like, we were children. Like, why would you say that to kids?
Yeah.
And like, now that my sister has kids, and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, just imagining somebody like saying that to them, like, we're fighting.
Yeah.
Like, I would literally kill for them.
Oh.
So it's just like, I don't know. It just kind of, it's upsetting to think that someone can say that to kids. Especially, I don't want to say especially to us, because we were literally like, we were raised very conservative. Like when you're at people's house, you need to sit down and be quiet. If like they offer you something, say no. Like you need to just sit there and act invisible. Like you need to be good. And that's how we were in like these people's houses.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's just like we never like spoke up about anything, like things like that. We never spoke up about it because it's just like, well, we're guests in your home, you know.
But it's like, in a way, I don't want to be a guest.
I don't. I'm like, I don't want to be here.
You're turning my presence into a burden.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask to be here.
Exactly. I'm like, I really didn't.
Yeah.
Like, you actually said that we could stay here.
Right.
So you welcomed us into your home. And you're getting money. Like, you know what I found out when I was in high school? For my senior paper, I wrote about foster kids and foster care.
I love that.
Because they said you have to write 12 pages about something that you're passionate about.
Ooh, I love that.
And so I'm just like, okay, foster care. So people can get up to $2,000 per child per month.
That's crazy.
So it's like...
And does it depend on the state, or is it like...
I guess it depends on the state, but even then, that's a lot of money. And that was back in 2015. Wow. When I did that paper. So now, so now,
yeah.
I feel like it's a lot more. Wow. So it's just like there was 3 of us. So you were getting a big chunk of money to take care of us. Yeah. So it's just like you were getting paid. Like you're not doing this for free.
Yeah. You're making it clear that you're in it for something. Otherwise you wouldn't have been here.
Exactly.
First of all, I'm so sorry that you had that negative experience. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you. I appreciate that.
I know that it's like something that I can never take away, you know?
Yeah.
But I do want to say that you can definitely tell that you rose above it and you stayed true to who you are and you fell in love with this version of yourself that is untouchable now. And you recognize that that was, yes, a part of your history, but it's not who you are. Yes. And you can tell that now these days too. And I just wanted to say like that's very admirable. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's true. Because it's really admirable to see you come here and just, you know, be strong and let people know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? And there is a way to rise above it and you're not who you are or what you've been through.
Right. And I feel like I'm still healing from all of that. I could barely get past it without crying. Yeah. Sometimes, like, you know that. Yeah. But like it's a lot of healing that I need to do for myself, healing that inner child. Like I don't think a lot of people realize that healing your inner child does a lot for you. Yeah. Yeah.
And what are some ways that you stay connected to your inner child?
I mean, I feel like talking about it helps just because I disconnected a lot. I dissociated a lot when I was a child just because I'm like, I don't want to think about it. So I feel like just being able to talk through it and to talk to people about it is really healing for me just because it's just like I'm being heard. Like someone else is listening to me, you know?
Absolutely.
So I feel like a lot of it is that. Yeah. It's just talking to somebody about it or, I don't know, just talking in general. Just because I didn't do a lot of that as a child. Yes. I was very, very quiet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. And I feel like I agree 100% what you're saying about just feeling heard. I think there's so much strong intimacy in being understood. Something about someone being like, oh, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. It just makes you feel so validated.
It
does.
Like
an internal embrace. Like, wow, I needed that hug from you, but you didn't give it to me. Like, it validated something inside of me that's like, okay, this part of me can grow. Yeah. So how do you feel like you're able to disassociate yourself when a client breaks up with you and like you see them going to someone else?
I don't take it personal just because I've done it. And it's not always a personal reason like, oh, I don't like her. She did a really bad job. It's just because maybe I don't have the funds to like, oh, hey, like you charge a little bit extra and I can't afford that. So let me go to somebody and I'm like, go for it, you know? Like.
So let me ask you this. Since you said that, do you think that the client owes you that communication?
No. Not at all. Because I wouldn't, for example, I have somebody who cuts my hair.
Okay.
If I go to someone else to cut my hair, I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm cheating on you. Mm-hmm. But if it's like a friend and I've established like that relationship with them.
Right.
Like my friend does my nails. I always tell her like, hey, I'm going to go cheat on you because you're not available.
Okay, that's fair.
And then she'll be like, okay, but make sure this, and this.
Got it.
So like I'll kind of follow her advice and I won't do anything too extravagant. Like this is just a basic like, hey, I just want a solid color.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have my other nail girl. Yeah, so I don't really take things like that personal.
Yeah.
You can kind of learn how to kind of just disassociate from that too. Just because, I don't know, if I spend my life being offended, then I'm just not going to be happy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you had right about that for sure. Like, yeah. And honestly, I feel like sometimes we be choosing to be offended about certain stuff too.
That's
like,
very true.
Sometimes we just be putting in our mind like, hey, what did they mean by that? Or they meant that by that. Especially when we have preconceived notions of people like, oh, I don't like this person because of X, Y, Z. Or I don't know, something's off about this person. So we never want to be wrong. So we'll do everything we can in our power to try to control the narrative.
Yeah, to prove yourself right.
Exactly. To be like, see, I told you.
Yeah, it's true.
What do you think?
I feel like that's true to an extent because sometimes it's just like intuition. It's just like, I don't vibe with that energy, you know, I'd rather not.
Wow, you're right.
You know?
You're right. Intuition definitely does come into play for sure. But how do you even train it? Like to know that this is my intuition and this is me just overthinking? Because there is a big balance, like a difference between the two.
It's a feeling, I guess. It's like a gut feeling that you have where sometimes you know when you're being a hater.
Yeah.
Like, you know it. You're being a hater.
Yeah.
Or there's sometimes where it's just like, I know this person isn't for me and I know that we're not going to get along. So why would I feed into that energy? So, I don't know. It's kind of like, you'll feel it.
Yeah. That's kind of like what they say, like, oh, if you know, you know.
Exactly.
And I agree with that 100%. But sometimes I feel like my intuition be confusing me. Like sometimes
that's very much true.
I have these good things and I have these bad intuitive thoughts. So I'm like, okay, which one? How do I guide you to understand? Like, oh, this is what I meant when I felt this. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to navigate that sometimes.
It is very hard, but I guess like learning from past mistakes.
Yeah.
Too. It's like if it's a cycle that just keeps happening over and over and over and over again, you have to like realize it at some point.
Exactly. And honestly, once you keep going through something over and over and over and over and over again, you got to step back and realize, okay, maybe I'm the problem.
Right. Like, I'm letting this happen.
I'm letting this happen. Yeah. Wow. That's a hard pill to swallow.
It is, but it's very much needed in order to move past it.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I know, like moving past it. I know.
It's taking the accountability.
Hard. And that's what's so hard because
it's
again,
the hardest part.
Right?
It's the hardest part.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, going back to me saying like, trying to prove yourself right. You know what I'm saying? Like we do everything in our power to be like, I don't want to be wrong. So I'm just going to, like I said, try to control the narrative.
Exactly.
But it never works out in our favor.
No.
Oh, and it's so like, oh, I hate
it's
that.
Disappointing.
I want control.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel that.
I just want control of outcomes that can end in a negative light.
Yeah.
I don't care if you control what time I got to be at work. I don't care if you control, you know what I'm saying? Little stuff like that. But if it's something where it's like, I know that if I lose this, there's an option that, you know, that's I feel like with relationships when it comes to like, you know, the dating world and stuff like that.
World.
The dating world. That whole sentence right there, when it comes to the dating world, it's just like we're in such a bad spot right now.
Yeah. I mean, what is it? Like, is there something in the air? Like,
people are just...
Is it because I'm lucky?
It's so hard out here because...
Like, I think it's because we just want to see the good in things and the good in people. To where it's just like, oh... Let's just ignore that part. Yeah. Like, I like this, but I don't like that. So let's just ignore it.
I know, but it'd be so hard.
Yeah.
It'd be so hard. And it's so easy to just ignore the red flags because sometimes we always just want to think people are different and
Give
better.
them the benefit of the doubt.
Yes. And it's like, we'll make them follow script in our head. So it's like, okay, like, I'm building you up to be this amazing person up here. Like, so make sure you're following script and you start holding them accountable to what you have envisioned them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I feel like it's the expectations that kill a relationship.
Ooh, yeah. Elaborate.
Because it's like, if I keep expecting these things from you and you're not following through, I'm just disappointing myself.
Okay, but what do you mean expecting these things though? Because did you start like that?
Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
Because if I'm coming into this relationship with expectations over nothing,
yeah.
Okay, now I'm tripping and I'm in this alone. But if you started as something and then you just started taking it away from me without communicating,
right. That's true.
or just like giving me a fair warning, like, hey, just so you know, I'm off my game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is it fair for me not to react to that?
See, that's where I feel like, no, it's not. Because it's just like, you were giving this to me already. Like, what happened? And why aren't you communicating that something is wrong?
Right, right. Honestly, and sometimes I feel like it can be hard to actually communicate. Like,
it is, especially when it's with somebody that you like. Because it's like, I don't want to offend you. I don't want to lose you. Like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. And you're going to be like, oh, I don't like her anymore. You know? But I feel like a real partner is going to be with you regardless.
Yeah.
And that's how you know that you have a real one, is if you're able to be honest with them and you guys are still able to work through it. And
you gotta want to, like, both of you guys have to want to.
Yes. That's something very important that I learned from, like, my past relationships, because it's like you guys both have to want it in order for it to work. Like, when someone is just, like, done, there's no way to recover that.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you're just chasing after nothing at this point.
It turns into a one-sided relationship, of course.
It does.
And then one person is suffering miserably and the other person don't even want to be there.
Exactly.
And half the time they already invested in someone else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or the idea of somebody else.
And because the idea of someone else is an illusion.
It is.
What do you mean?
Because I'm going to give myself as an example.
Okay.
And this is also where expectations come into play with me. I had an ex. And in the beginning, it was great. Like, he did everything. He comforted me the way that I wanted to when I would have anxiety. He would say, like, come over here and let me hold you. Things like that. And I was just like, oh, now I finally have someone that gets me.
Got it.
But all of that stopped. So then I had this expectation, like, oh, like, why isn't he doing this anymore? Like, I want this person back. But he wasn't doing that for me. So it's just like having, and it also comes into play of what you were saying, where it's just like, what if they did start doing it?
Yeah.
At first,
and
but then it stopped. Yeah.
So if that happens, how do you even communicate that? How do you communicate, hey, I missed the way you touched me and held me earlier?
I did communicate that, because I'm just like, well, what happened to this? Like, we used to be like this. And he would come up with excuses. I don't remember word for word what he said, but it's just like along the lines of, oh, we live together now. Like, you see me every day.
And
I'm just like, but wait.
We live together and you see me every day. Yes, so touch me every day.
Right.
What are you talking about?
So this was my thing with him. I'm just like, you're here with me, but you're not present. That was always like the consistent argument.
And there's a difference.
There is a difference. Because it's just like, he would be like, well, why can't we just sit here and be on our phones and be next to each other? Like, that's enough for me. No, like, talk to me about your day. Like, I want to talk to you. I don't even want you to talk. Sometimes I just want you to listen. Yeah. I'm like, just give me 10 minutes. Bruh. Like, just let me decompress with you my day. I worked for however long hours. Just let me tell you about my day. Let me decompress. Because that's how I decompress. Like, I want to tell somebody about my day.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I just felt like he was never present. So that was just like a reoccurring. And he was just, but we live together. Like, I see you every day. You're with me every day. Yeah, I am. But, like, be present here with me right now. Like,
be present here with me right now. Yeah. And I feel like it'd be hard sometimes to express that you want more attention without seeming kind of like
Clingy.
yeah. And it's like, I'm not trying to run you off. I'm also just trying to understand, like, help you understand that I want this to be enjoyable for both of us.
Right. And it's like, you're my person. You want to be my best friend, right?
Exactly.
Like, you want
like, where's the
to
fun
be
in
together.
that?
Exactly. So just like, what if I have a best friend, I want to tell you about my day.
Exactly. Roz, thank you so much for just coming and chatting with us and letting us pick your brain and getting to know the inner child you and this grown you and just this beautiful human that you are. Like, we really appreciate
I really
you.
appreciate it.
Of
I love
course.
being here. Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness, of course. You guys make sure that you are booking an appointment with Roz.
Yes.
She's an esthetician, so she does it all, y'all. Waxing, facials.
Like, I do lash
makeup.
lifts, laminations for your brows.
Bruh.
Like, I got you for all your needs.
Come get it cracking. Thank y'all so much also for tuning in to another episode of Go On, I'm Listening. As you know, I am your host, Taty. But if you guys will join me, I will see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.